Hey there friends, welcome back to the channel. Today's pick a card reading will be a reading from your ancestors. A message that you need to hear at this moment from your ancestors. So let's go ahead and get the piles going. Let's see. So for pile 1, actually, we have a piece of lepidolite, for pile 2, some black tourmaline with kaolinite inclusions, some clay inclusions. And for pile 3, a piece of carnelian, I'm noticing today as I'm doing these readings, there's like a lot of external noise. So I added a little bit of background music, some meditative music from a channel here on YouTube. I believe this one is Calm Will. I'll add the link in the description. But the noise, the external noise, that seems to be kind of like an underlying theme, agitation, irritation, perhaps that you're feeling. Also feels like that weed whacker that's going, it feels like, it's making me think of a bee, a busy bee, but not working in balance, not working in harmony, but more working too hard, too forceful. I don't know, perhaps that's energy that you're feeling. One of those, perhaps just not being able to hear yourself, feeling like you're working too hard, pushing too hard, agitated, irritated. Maybe these are energies that you might be feeling right now. I've got some incense going to help kind of clear that so that we can get a very clear message from your ancestors. But that's the feeling I was called to do an ancestor reading today, a message from your ancestors. We likely won't get into like descriptions of them, mainly just the message that they want to get across to you. All right, so let's get going. So we've got the 3 crystals for the 3 piles. Then we're going to get a card for each, an oracle card for each. So can we get a card for pile 1? This will be pile 1. This will be pile 2. And pile 3. And I think today I am going to go ahead and turn the cards over for each. So let's move this up a bit. So before we get started, we'll know what the card is. For pile 1, we have Ogma, watch your words. For pile 2, we have Mother Mary, emotional healing. The tear and the flower, I'm going to call it a rose, even though it might seem like a different flower to you. The tear and the rose, that's what's sticking out to me. And for pile 3, we have Leah, stand your ground. Lots of movement in this card. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this going for just a little bit. Actually, I'll film a different video and kind of tuck it in here into the edit. And give you a few minutes to choose your pile. Again, this is a message from your ancestors, something that they would like you to know right now. And I'll see you at your reading. Hey there, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading. Welcome to your message from your ancestors. So you picked this pile with the lepidolite. And for some reason, what I'm getting from it is something about the subconscious, something about dream time, but I'm getting more not necessarily in your dreams, but more of a subconscious thing, a subconscious situation, behavior, way of thinking, a pattern. And I believe that's how it ties into this card here, which is watch your words. And you know, I'm getting like side eye, right? That I don't know why that popped up, but like this side eye, like, you know, this way of how perhaps you are doing this to someone, how you are observing, or that's the way that you're recognizing someone, is almost in a sarcastic manner, like, oh, you know, kind of a manner, maybe not giving them like your full attention, or taking the words that they say or the thing that they're sharing with you and kind of blowing it off in a way. I don't know if that's something that you're doing or someone's doing to you, but that's the feeling that I'm getting from this card so far. And I think the message is, one of the messages here for this pile, for pile 1, is how you, I keep wanting to say validate, how you validate others, or how you express, how you take in and how you express to them your reception of their message. Does that make sense? I keep wanting to say validate, how you validate another. And that this could just be the way that you have always done it. You've always been this way. It's a way of not letting your true feelings known, coming off as being a bit like nonchalant, or not really like what is going on in the world around you is not having as much of an effect on you as it does. It's kind of a bit of insincerity in a way, where you're not letting the people around you or others know how you really feel, how you really think. And maybe a way of also not letting your emotions, really feeling your emotions. Like perhaps you're afraid of really feeling your emotions. And so you kind of just blow things off so that you don't have to think about it. You don't have to feel it. You don't have to sit with it. But again, subconscious, like this is a subconscious pattern of behavior, a subconscious behavior, a way of, that's just kind of like something that you came up with a long time ago, you know, when you were a child, or when you were a young adult of, a teen or young adult of not letting people know how you really feel, not letting know how deeply you feel things, because I think this pile, you feel things very deeply. So this is just a pattern of behavior that you've gotten into and you've been in for a while, and so perhaps you don't realize the effect that it's having on others when you're in a relationship or when you're dealing with those, well, anyone, but mostly this is kind of tying into those that are closest to you, and that you don't perhaps recognize the effect that this behavior has on those that you love. So that's just the first card. Let's go ahead and put this here. I'm going to leave this in the middle. I feel like this needs to be right here. And let's move out from there. So I would like to get, let's see, let's work with the Dragon Oracle first. Just a few Oracle cards. There's a bunch of decks out here, but I don't think I'm going to use them all for this pile. Or all piles, we'll see. So, pile 1. I feel like I need two. Two of these. One of these. Pile 1. And what do pile 1's ancestors want to get across today? And one of these. I'll do that one last. Let's get one of these. A message for pile 1 from their ancestors. All right, so our oracles are here. I'm gonna pick a Lenormand also. Message from pile 1's ancestors, please. All right, and let's start with these. So we have Water Dragon. Helps you flow easily around obstacles. Christ light and love are flowing. Develop your psychic abilities. Go with the flow. Go with the flow. And the other card, oh, both are green. Heart, tied to the heart, tied to feeling, tied to emotion. Air and Water Dragon helps you to connect to higher frequencies. Trust your intuition. Again, develop your psychic abilities. Be open to enlightenment. Express your inner song. We're touching on heart energies, feeling, emotion, allowing them to flow. The Lenormand, we have Whip, but notice it's a whole lot of flowers. And then this card right here, it says freedom. And let's read from this a bit. It says, look for patterns and habits that are holding you back. Release the ones that bind you. Freeing your mind from negativity will bring in a higher vibration of love and calm. Bathe in this light of goodness and you will soon release all that is not serving you. The affirmation is, I am free. And that really ties into, I'm going to leave the picture up, ties into what we were talking about at the start, right? With behaviors that originally you came up with to shield yourself, right? To keep you from really feeling those deep emotions or letting others know how you're feeling, know that you feel greatly. So let's continue here. We have the Sun, happiness, health, success, and love, prosperity, beneficial discovery of secrets, and divinity. And I feel like it's letting the light shine into your heart. Letting the light shine on this behavior or illuminating this behavior that your ancestors want to bring to your attention. Then we also have thunder, and it says punishment. But what I really want to point out here that's really standing out is this bubble around the person here. And that's what I feel this behavior is. It's like a shield. It's like shielding you, right? The need to cleanse negative energy, emotional outbursts, external difficulties. And I feel like this behavior is, again, a way for you to, a way that you are subconsciously keeping yourself from really feeling deeply, and letting others know what it is that, how you're feeling. And I think that this is the change that needs to occur. So what I'm going to do now, let's pull some cards. Which cards do I want to go with? I actually want to go, it's kind of called to this deck today. I haven't used it in a really long time. It is the Tattoo Tarot. I've had it for several years now. Oh, all right. Fear of judgment, I just heard, as the Judgment card fell out. I'm actually going to go with these. Let's go with this pile right here. So I have Judgment. There's going to be no rhyme or reason also to this layout. I feel like it's just bringing in a type of energy to kind of shake loose this behavior in order for you to recognize it and see it, for it to come up to the surface a bit more. We have the Ace of Swords. Eyes closed, not seeing, not wanting to know, not wanting to see. I think this is the Eight of Wands in this deck. Movement, and notice the sun coming through, the sun's rays illuminating this. The Nine of Swords. Yeah, I feel like perhaps the outcome of this action, of this behavior, is kind of binding you. Isn't that what this one said also? The need to cleanse negative energy. Where did we see something about binding? I thought we just read something about binding. External difficulties, cleansing negative energy. Is it on this one? Freeing your mind from negativity will bring in a higher vibration of love and calm. Release the ones that bind you. Release the behaviors that bind you. So that's what we're doing here. We're bringing it to your attention. Ancestors are bringing it to your attention so that you can release it. Then we also have the Five of Swords. The pathway, person walking up the stairs, walking up, leaving this behind, leaving this darkness, the shadow. This is actually maybe the awareness of this behavior coming out, coming forward. It really feels like there are some external situations perhaps happening right now in your life, and you're wondering why people are treating you a certain way or behaving a certain way or not responding to you in the way that you would like them to respond to you. And the reason why is also part of it on you, part of it your responsibility to understand how you communicate, how you yourself how you are treating someone else and taking yourself like into this observer role where you're able to see, okay, you take the emotions out of it and you see, well, if someone treated me in this way, you know, how would that make me feel? If I'm treating this person in this way, how is it making them feel, right? What are they expressing to me? Are you actually hearing the words that they are expressing to you? Are you hearing the words that they're saying? That just came through. That's interesting. That would be a good way of trying to figure out exactly what behavior it is. And I really do feel that it's kind of like the offhand remark. Like, that's what I keep feeling. I feel like it's an offhand remark that perhaps you make when someone says something deep that they feel to you, and you kind of just, you know, you kind of blow it off as a joke. You know, it's like that type of energy. I think you know what I'm talking about. I think that it's starting to crystallize for you. It's coming into focus. So what else, ancestors? What else do you have for us? How is this really tying in to pile one's life at this time? What is it that they need to know? We have the Pathfinder. Now this is a deck. I love it, but I can never remember how it changed. Like the names are how it ties into the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. So I usually just read it as I channel it. So Pathfinder, let me work on that one a little bit. Give me a moment with that. Let's get a few more cards. We have the Elementalist, another. So maybe the fact that I can't remember has something to do with this. Remembering roles, that's what's coming through. Remembering roles. Remembering roles. We have the Seven of Trees, which is like the Seven of Wands. This just looks really tranquil. Tranquil, like nothing's wrong, right? Nothing's going on. Everything's nice and peaceful in this, but I feel like this defensive energy in it. They'll put it right there on that side. And I have the Romantic, again, another role. Right off the bat, I kind of feel like these cards here, they are showing you when you do this in your life, that's really affecting you right now. In love, life path, Elementalist, I want to say in emotion, but that ties into love, right? And relationships. Maybe even with yourself. Maybe you do this to yourself even. Maybe when when you feel a certain way, you're just like, yeah, whatever, you know, and you just kind of blow it off. So that's what I see here. And it's really, this reading feels like it's really hard to pull the message out of it. And when I feel that way, it's usually something on the querent's part. Like, I'm reading for you, right? So there's something in your energy that's making it really hard to extract this from extract this message. Like the channeling seems muted, the visions seem muted, the message seems muted, as if there is something pushing back, also against me trying to pull the message out. Does that make sense to you? Defensiveness. And again, defensive, there is a bit of defensive energy in order to protect. So let's see, let's get a few more oracle cards. Let's see if we can get some guidance as to what you can do. What can you do to help recognize it more? Other than this reading, what can you do to help recognize it more and work on it? To work on it, to help release this type of defensive energy, or this type of this shield that you have that's keeping you from interacting with others in a more authentic and I was going to say emotional manner, because I think there's a lot of emotion missing here, emotional energy missing here, and that's the feeling of, you know, this almost dullness to the message, this energy. And we have flow with divine timing. Let's see what else. Feel this card right here. Honor the cycles. And with this one is honor what's within you. Honor the emotions. You know, emotions, we connect with water, right? The flow of emotions. Let me lift these up so you can see. And again, flow with divine timing. Flow is important here. Learning to get your emotions to flow more easily within you, from within you to without. What else can we do, Spirit? What else can you give us? I'm going to use this deck since we've got the moons on here. This one I haven't used in a long time either. Things you haven't done in a long time. Show your emotions. And we have centered. So I'm going to read from the book on that one. That's what I feel like I need to do. I left the book on the side because I felt that that was going to somehow be important. Let's see. So, centered. There it is. Centered. Reading from here first. It's a quote from Alan Watts. Stay in the center and you'll be ready to move in any direction. Focus, connection, equilibrium. The moon's phases can be a tool to guide you in achieving balance in your life. Obtain a moon calendar specified for the current year and the hemisphere you live in, northern or southern. The cycle of the moon entails waxing, which is growing, and waning, decreasing. The new dark moon symbolizes beginnings. The slate is wiped clean and you can start fresh by setting new intentions. During each cycle, the moon will wax and grow from a crescent to the gibbous phase. During this time, take your plan and put it into action, as this is the working phase. The full moon is now upon you and is very powerful. Bask in the fruits of your labor and intentions that have brought positive results into fruition. Just as quickly as it came, the moon will now begin to wane, receding from full gibbous to a crescent. It is now time to wrap up all of your projects, complete your goals, release, and cleanse. When the dark moon arrives, use this time for stillness, reflection, and contemplation of your past. The new moon will soon be upon you once again. You have yet another chance to start fresh and new. And the intention Seek out the current phase of the moon. Prepare and have knowledge of its power. So all right here. So moon names throughout the year. This is January of 2024 that I'm filming this. We have Wolf and Chaste Moon. And then coming in February, Snow, Ice, and Hunger, or Hunger Moon. Okay, so I think the most important thing I got out of this that felt like it resonated was the stay in the center, ready to move in any direction. The fact that the moon moves in cycles. So the advice I think that you're getting from your ancestors is to recognize that feelings. All right, let me backpedal a bit. What I'm hearing is that you created this behavior, this pattern of behavior, in order to not feel the depth of your emotion. Because when you would feel the depth of your emotion, it kind of settled on you and you couldn't get your way out of it, and it would just stay. Depression is like this, where you start to feel depressed and you can't release it, you can't let go of it. So, and I speak from experience, I know what it feels like to just sit in that sadness and it just doesn't go away, right? So, but getting back to feeling emotions and feeling the emotion and it's heavy, or you're sitting in it and you can't let go of it. I think part of that has to do with perspective. That's what I'm hearing. Like your perception of how you're supposed to feel things. And that was when you were a child. You felt like, oh, if somebody is sad, then you need to feel sad with them and you need to stay in that sadness with them, right? And that created this behavior, this pattern of behavior. And your ancestors are here to remind you that that's not how emotion should be. You don't need to do that. It's not this expectation, the societal expectation perhaps, of feeling sadness with everyone else because everyone else is sad, you have to feel sad too. That's not true. You don't have to, right? And it's not saying you can't feel compassion for others, right? That's not what this is. This is understanding your own emotions and understanding that you don't need to remain in this emotional space just because others are. Yours flows. Everybody has their own unique flow, right? And it would be good for you to get in touch with your own emotions, to get in tune with your own emotions, in order to feel them and get them to flow through the cycle, like the moon cycle. It comes up, you feel it, you let it go, right? It comes up, feel it, let it go. That's important. And that's going to help you move through this pattern of behavior I feel like it's really affecting your life. It's really affecting how you live. It's really affecting your relationships and the depth of your relationships. Perhaps you feel as if you've been having like these superficial relationships, or that you cannot express how you really feel to others because you're afraid of judgment, that people might think that you're so sensitive or overly sensitive, which is silly. That's a silly thing. You're not overly sensitive. You're just feeling things, right? And when you stop worrying about that, subconsciously, I think for you, when that worry goes away, you get into this cycle a bit more. You flow a bit more. You honor your own emotions more. And that's important too. I'm looking at this card, it's just popping out. To happiness, health, success, and love. And prosperity and beneficial discovery of secrets. And the secret here is knowing yourself and allowing yourself to feel emotions. Because that's going to bring like a whole nother level of, like I'm hearing, living life in color. Like it's going to bring color to your life. It's going to bring so much more enjoyment to your life. And it's not just feelings of hurt, it's feelings of joy. If you're tamping down your feelings and not letting them come out, you're not able to experience the good stuff in their full glory either. So that's, I guess, where this freedom card ties in. The freedom card is you're freeing yourself of this past behavior, of this past way of experiencing emotions and expressing emotions. And that will bring so much more joy to your life, so much more color. I keep hearing color. It can bring color to your life. Now, the color thing also might be a way of helping you start this quest to be more open. And I'm hearing using greens and pinks, because those are tied to your chakras, right? To the heart chakras. So where the color is, start expressing yourself. Maybe not through the words to start, right? Maybe not through words, but if the words are hard, start expressing yourself in other ways, through the clothing that you're wearing, because you can change that, right? You can change that as your emotions change, or as your feelings change, or your energy changes. You can change your you can change your outward expression along with that, with the inward expression. Well, interesting how it started really, the messages really started flowing once we hit on that, on flow with divine timing. Yeah, so I think that's it, pile one. I think that is the message from your ancestors today. That's the message they wanted to get across. And it's funny because at the start of this reading, how everything felt so dull and held down and bound. It felt like, nope, message is not going to come out. Message is not going to come out. But then once we hit on this main theme about cycles and flow of emotion, started moving again. Because you are moving again. You're working your way up. And I think the Elementalist has great imagery in here too. Flow, letting things come out, letting things be emoted. And this will affect every aspect of your life. The ability to feel your emotions and express your emotions. And then coming back to, real quick, how others are being affected by that. And the reason I think they pulled us into focused on those that you love is because it doesn't matter what most people think, right? It doesn't matter what people think about you. What matters is what you think about yourself and how you treat yourself. And when you are able to really express, those around you will feel it. They'll be able to, if they tell you something that's really important to them, or that they really feel about you. You know, if someone says, I love you, do you say, yeah? I know already? Or do you say, or you look at them and you give them the attention? Do you say, and I love you too? Right? Those have two completely different effects on the person who's receiving that. So think about that. Think about that. Think about how this message makes you feel. Feel it. Feel it. And then start to do things that express your feelings. That truly express your feelings. Use your words. Use your clothing. Use art. Use some express. Know how you feel and then express it. And I think that's the step. Those are the steps. That's how you get started. And it'll take a little while, but I feel like this is something that's going to change your life completely. And what a beautiful message to get from your ancestors. So I'd like to thank you, ancestors of Pile 1, for coming through today and bringing this message to Pile 1. And I hope that you're able to get past the beginning of the reading. I know it was hard. It was hard getting that message out. Just like it will be hard expressing yourself at first because it's so alien probably to you. But I highly encourage you to do it. It's a great message from your ancestors. It's great guidance. And with that, I'm going to end this reading, Pile 1. If you liked it, if you got something out of it, got insight out of it, please like the video. And I would love it if you subscribe to the channel. Let your friends know if you feel that this is something that would be beneficial to them also. Maybe the more we get others to hear the message of expressing how they really feel and loving at their fullest and being aware of how our words affect others, the more people that hear it, the better this world might be, right? All right, Pile 1, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time. I appreciate that you spent it with me, and I look forward to seeing the next reading. Okay, bye-bye. Pile 2, welcome to your reading. Welcome to the message from your ancestors. Message that they have for you at this point in time in your life. Today, I don't know why I feel it's important to say that. Something that's important for you to know today at this point in your life. So, you chose a pile that had the tourmaline with the kaolinite inclusions. This feels so heavy to me. I think this has to do with the emotions maybe you're experiencing right now. But it's also here as protection from the intensity of it, perhaps, or from it being worse, I'm hearing. Being worse than it could be. But that's not to negate that what you're feeling is some pretty heavy emotions right now. I feel sadness. I feel sadness. I think part of that, and maybe that's why this card came out with the tear. Mother Mary, emotional healing. It's pointing to this for me, to the head. And why is that? Why is that? Why are we getting that? Let's get more information here. All right, ancestors. Ancestors of Pile 2. What is it that you want to get across today? What's the message that you have for those in Pile 2? Start here. I feel like we need to build these. Let's see. I feel like there's going to be a lot more oracle cards in this one than tarot. Why is that? Messages. And notice, I mean, this is a very different feeling than pile 1, but notice that I said building. We're building. Something about building up your emotions, building up joy, building up your joy again, building up your ability to be resilient. Ancestors, what message do you have for pile 2? And balance. Notice everything's a symmetry here. Symmetry for balance. Although I do feel like things are... When I say things are not orderly, why was I going to say that? Things are not orderly. Things are not in balance right now. We have imbalance coming through in this pile. Let's get some tarot next. Let's see. So the mind's eye. What message do you have for pile? What message do we have for pile 2 today? Ancestors, what message do you have for them? What message do you have for pile 2? I've been really, that pile 1 also, like feeling, I'm really feeling the energy. Those of you in pile, watching pile 2, that chose pile 2. I'm saying a lot today. What is it? What is it? What is the message that you have to get across today? And these need to come up right away, I feel like. Again, roses. It's snake, but it's the roses. And this infinity. 8. Maybe the number 8, actually, because it is popping up as an 8 to me. Even though it's the card is number 7. The number 8. I feel like the next chapter brings so much love. I just got that. The next chapter brings so much love. That's what the rose is. Unconditional. It's unconditional. The love is unconditional. And this card also came out. I felt like I need to pull it up right away. It says anchor. And with time you'll be grounded. Oh. For those of you, if you have had someone pass on, and that's what the grief is, I would like to say I'm so sorry. I can feel that sadness. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. That's a really, grief is so hard to go through, and it never actually really goes away, does it? You just work through different stages of it. But this ancestor that is coming through, the ancestors, there are several actually, they're saying with time you'll feel grounded again, you'll feel settled again. It won't be so, the emotions won't be so turbulent, the grief won't be so turbulent. There are more cards to be had, but I'm going to just go ahead and let's open these up. Let's turn these over. Let's open this up. We have rebirth. Let go of the ties that bind. And really the energy coming in is very like grandmotherly to me, like very loving, very caring. And just this big hug that they're offering you. Unconditional love. And we have awakening, live in the moment. And this is a bit of the guidance to help you get through this grief and sorrow. It starts with trying again to live in the moment. And when the grief is very deep, sometimes it's just you need to pull yourself into your body and you just focus on something. Focus on, say, the point of this crystal, and you just completely stay focused on the point of that crystal. And you feel the breath coming into your body and the breath going out. And that is one moment that you're not thinking about what's happened, or you're not feeling the grief in that one moment. And that's what this awakening card is saying, and that's what that message, this is the card they're using to get that across, is that it starts with moments. It starts with moments. And the love is never gone, my friend. The love is never gone. The love is eternal. Their love for you is eternal. And we have honor the process. I think the butterflies have something, have meaning for you. Butterfly fairies, I'm hearing. Honor the process. And that's, grief is a process. Give and receive. I think this is also guidance. This side seems to be guidance towards how to get through it. And a lot of times when we're in that deep depression, or it's so overwhelming, right? You're just in yourself, right? You're not engaging with the world because the grief is so intense. And part of pulling yourself out of it again, besides being in that moment, is within interactions, to be in the moment when you interact. I'm feeling like, look, I don't know why I feel like lining this up. I feel like lining this up, like it's just this wave. I don't know why. How is that important? Ancestors, how is that important? Why is that important to the message? And I get broom, improvements, new home or new era in your life, great news in the near future. Perhaps letting that it will improve in the near future if you're able to get into this being in the moment, being within yourself, being present, and to begin interacting with others again. That will help lessen the pain and the sorrow. To get back into the flow of being with, of engaging with others, of allowing yourself to feel love. And then we have this on this side. Again, anchor, 2 anchors. Prosperity in business, stable romantic relationships, and good luck. But I think this more ties into the being settled and being, grounded and centered. And that's what living in the moment will help to do. It will help to ground you again. It will help bring the light back into your life. Bring the light back into your life. All right, let's see some of these tarot cards here. We have Justice, bringing balance back. Yes. Expected to see that. We see the Knight of Swords. moving forward. I feel like this is saying not waiting to do so. I don't know why. Not waiting to do so, understanding that the grief is there, but look towards finding balance. I'm not sure how long ago the passing occurred. And this could even be, I know I'm framing it because I think some of you watching this, it is the passing on of a loved one. For others, it's the passing on of a relationship that was so important to you, that meant the world to you, that you gave your heart, all of you, to. Do we have the 10 of Cups? That working through this, honoring the process, working through it, beginning to pull yourself out of it towards engaging, giving and receiving energy with others. Will help bring joy back into your life again. Because I think this is what your ancestors are pointing at. They're pointing at, if you stay in this sadness, it will never go away. And so they're encouraging you to work on healing your emotions, to understand that the grieving lasts. It lasts. It won't ever go away. It is something that you work through and that you live with. But the pain and the suffering that you feel at certain points doesn't have to be pain and suffering that endures throughout your life. It doesn't mean that you love less, that you love this person less, or you loved less. It doesn't mean that you didn't have that love in return. I'm hearing. But that is it is a point in your life. It is a cycle in your life. And you must continue living the rest of your life. The cycles. Don't get bound up. Don't get caught up in thinking that you have to remain in this space in order for it to mean something. Oh, that was very direct. You don't need to remain in this space in order for it to have value, or in order for it to have meant something. Because it did. It meant something. It was amazing. It was beautiful. You experienced deep love, a deep emotional bond with someone. But in order for you to continue living your life, you need to start pulling yourself out of it. It will always be there. Your love will always be there. The love, the relationship, the love you shared will always be there. That won't ever go away. But it's time to start to regain balance, to move towards balance, and to take yourself out of this space. And that is the message that we're starting to get here, that we're getting from your ancestors. There are more, like I'm going back to these oracle cards because I think that the oracle cards really have, I'm going to pull this out. It says curiosity. I don't know why that stood out to me, but that's not the card for you. They may have meant something for someone here in this pile. Curiosity. Ancestors, what message do you have? Maybe those two. Let's see. Oh, we have 3 here. We have freedom. This came out in pile 1. There are some themes that may apply from pile 1, but I feel that this is a very different reading. But if you do feel drawn to it, you might want to watch that one. Maybe that one started off really difficult because there was just the energy was very like unyielding, I want to say. But once it got flowing, and it's the message about flow that you'll want to tune into from this pile. And that's towards maybe about halfway through that reading. So we have freedom. So freedom from that, from the binding, from the pain, the suffering. We have harmony. And we have Samhain. Samhain. I think the pictures are more important for you in this pile. And I think this also speaks of spring, summer, fall. And that's a bit of a timeline for you to goals for you. That's what I'm hearing. Goals for you to look ahead and say, well, okay, by this point in time, I'm going to be getting back involved. Say if you were part of a group or something, like say you sang in a choir, and you've stopped doing that because of the grief and the suffering, right, that you're going through, and you needed time away, right, because you couldn't deal with people or you couldn't deal with the emotions. So give yourself a timeline of set a goal for when you're going to be getting back into it. These are the steps. These are the first steps that your ancestors are giving you. Ancestor, for some of you, it's just this one that's coming through. But they are supported by other ancestors, but the main message is, and it might be from the person that passed for some of you. Like I said, that grandmother energy, grandmotherly energy. Okay, let's get a few more. I think I do need a few more cards here to get through the message. Again, harmony. Where do we have harmony here? I'm going to put that there. Coming back into harmony with the energies, with your life, actually. It's bringing your life back into balance, is what I'm hearing. Bringing your life back into balance. Getting back into the flow of things. So let me hold these up for you. Harmony. And again, look at the fall colors. Look at the fall colors here. I think it's you're being encouraged. It feels like you're being encouraged to set goals, to pull yourself into a different space, emotional or head space. Then we have Lakshmi, like goddess blessings enrich your life. To learn to let these emotions flow again. And that's where, I said in pile 1, like partway through it, you'll start to hear about the flow, understanding that life flows, right? That emotions flow, understanding that the message is to recognize that you don't need to stay in one emotion forever. Even though it's difficult to pull yourself out of grief, intense grief. Do we have anything else today, Spirit? Anything else you would like to share with us? I'm gonna pull. These cards wanted to be part of it. And since we're talking about flow and moon and cycle, let's get one last card for pile 2. Message from their ancestors. We have Enchanted. And I think this is to remind you of the beauty of life and how life can be enchanting, what it feels like to feel enchanted, right? Let's read from the book for this. That's important. Let's see, I need to get reading glasses. Let's see, Enchanted. And where are we? Here we are, Enchanted. So I have from Matt Aron. He writes some great books in case anybody wants to go and read it. Highly recommended. So Enchanted. The psychic witch lives in a state of enchantment, seeing all things as magical and understanding that the universe is composed of endless possibilities and potential. And the intention is to seek out the mystical and magical feelings and life of enchantment. And, you know, what is tying into here, and I think it's well, first off, it's a reminder that life can be beautiful. I think your ancestors coming in to remind you that life can be beautiful and amazing and enchanting, and that is the feeling that they want you to have. They want you to feel that way. They don't want you to live the rest of your life in pain or in suffering. They want you to be happy, right? They want you to be in love with life. They want you to be enchanted with life. And so I'd like to read this because a way for you to tap into that enchantment again is to find those things when you were younger, when you were a child, right? That made you feel alive and just caught your fancy. And this is just another perhaps step or guidance towards helping you pull yourself out of that emotion, that pain. So it says, it is your choice to live an enchanted existence. Open the doors to mystery and magic in your life. Discover all that is in store and waiting just for you. A life that is mysterious, playful, and filled with hidden treasure is waiting for you to unearth it. Keep your mind open to all that is possible. Your world will be filled with many surprises. Sometimes it is helpful to reminisce and look back to your childhood years. Rekindle your carefree, natural feelings. Children seek out the extraordinary with inquisitive imaginations. They believe in magic, fairies, unicorns, and being able to fly just using their arms as wings. They are not frightened, for they know these are good spirits who bring joy. And your ancestors want to bring that joy back into your life again. And it's very important to them because they care very deeply about you. They care about your well-being. So final thing that I got out of this was that there's so much potential for joy to come back into your life. Pain and suffering is not foretold for you. That is not your destiny. Your destiny is to live life in joy. Like that, I keep hearing there's joy, there's so much joy. You have to open yourself up to that possibility again. Great news in the near future. That's what I remember, that we had read. Great news in the near future. Prosperity in business, stable romantic relationships. The love is always there. The love that you had is always there. It's infinite. It is infinite. And so, pile 2, I wish you joy. I wish you so much joy, harmony, and flow. I wish that you bring your life back into balance and that you're able to feel love again. You're able to feel the joy of life again. You're able to feel the excitement of life again. And that is my wish for you. And that is the message from your ancestors today. I'd like to thank you so much for joining me, for spending this time with me today. If you gained any insight or this brought comfort in any way, I would love it if you liked the video or subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me that you are willing to spend this time with me. Thank you so much, Pal 2, and I hope to see you in a future reading. All right, bye-bye. Hey there, Pal 3. Welcome to your reading. You chose the pile with the carnelian. Let's see if I can get that in focus. All right. I'm hearing like two layers, the outside and the inside. And this seems so much softer than the hardness of the outside. It seems a bit obvious with a rock, yes? But how does that tie into your reading? And then also the card of Leah. Stand your ground. And I feel like there's so much when you draw a line in the sand. I'm hearing when you draw a line in the sand, there you say, for this group particularly, when you ensure that people do not cross your boundaries, that you've set your boundaries. And that's standing your ground. You set your boundaries, you allow yourself more freedom. By creating the boundary, you allow yourself more freedom. The freedom for your emotions to flow, the freedom for you to express yourself authentically, to act with integrity, stand your ground by setting your boundaries. And that is the initial theme, I guess, from this card anyway, of the message from your ancestors. I think I need to turn this over right here, and so we can see that border. I feel like that border is important. But also notice that it softens a bit right there, right? It softens. That borders can be, your boundaries can be fluid. And that's part of the message, that it can be fluid. It can be fluid with different people, different circumstances, different situations, in order to make things flow more freely. All right, let's get to the message. Let's start with some oracle cards. Let's see, ancestors of pile 3. Did I say pile 3 earlier or pile 2? I meant pile 3 if I said something else. So, what do the ancestors of pile 3 have today? What pile 3 ancestors have for you today? I want to also have some of these. Oopsies. I'm just going to select a few of these. I think it'll be out of this pile. That's 1. And that's 2. Ancestors of pile 3. What do you have today as a message? I like how this has all of the, also like waves, yeah? Waves in there. I know, how are we going to do this today? I think I want to move this to this side and this to this side. Again, like with pile 1, no rhyme or reason. Pile 2 had had a special, like it needed to be balanced, right? Pile 3, I think we're just, balance is always important, but I think part of the message is you can move things around. It doesn't have to be, boundaries don't have to be set in stone. Boundaries don't have to be set in stone. That's what I heard. All right, let's see what else. I feel like this joy to this pile that's different from the other two. The other two was very heavy and emotional. This one I feel much more lightness to it. No, that's gonna go up there. And then let's get the tarot cards first. What do I want to use with this deck? Here we are. Actually, I want to start with the black and white deck, because I think what we're doing here in this reading is moving from the idea of such concrete boundaries into something a bit more fluid. Even though that does seem a little bit contradictory to what I said at the start, both, it's not contradictory. Both work, because I mean it depends on you as a person. How do you respond to others, right? Are your boundaries are your boundaries such a way that you don't allow for variance or changes in situation or dynamic or the people around you? Or do you not have any to start, right? So that's important. I'm gonna just use 2. Nope, 3. My sisters want 3. We shall have 3. All right, and then I think we need from this deck too. Just interesting cards. Good, the backs of the cards today too. 1, 2, and 3 for this one also. And I think that other one's gonna end up moving. Do I need a Lenormand here? I'm gonna put that one right up there. All right. I think this is how Spirit wants it to go, or your ancestors want it to go today. I feel like there needs to be something here. I may pull from another deck as we go along. All right, so we have Water Dragon. This came out in pile 1 also. Interesting. Helps you flow easily around obstacles. So going with the flow. And that really ties into this reading. So far, Golden Christed Dragon brings you higher love so that you can embody the Christ light. You're protected, expand your heart, and remain 5th dimensional. And I think the importance of these 2 cards are the colors as they relate to your chakras. Interesting. Okay, and then we have Communicate with Spirit. That's a beautiful card, isn't it? Communicate with Spirit. Oops, I think these need to come down. Keeping the up top. And then we have these. Clover, spiritual cleaning. Good luck if you work hard to attain and open yourself for love, friendship, and healing. Boundaries, opening up certain boundaries. And we have Door, be aware of opportunities, opening of new possibilities and challenges, and Proposal. Dynamic, I keep hearing the dynamics, how your boundaries need to change in regard as the dynamics change. Boundaries need to change as the dynamics change. The dynamics of your relationship, perhaps. Let's see. So we have The Eight of Swords in reverse, releasing boundaries, releasing the things that bind you. We have the Empress. Oh, that's such a beautiful card. Look at the flow in this card. And we have the Nine of Swords in reverse. So I feel like you've been working hard on creating change in your life. And that's what the joy is in this photo, is that you're starting to see the outcome of changing your perspective about your boundaries, about how you interact with the world and how you let the world interact with you. And so this is already in motion, it seems like. And then your ancestors are coming in here to just give you a little bit more encouragement to see, to play with the boundaries, to play with them a little more. I feel like right now it's like maybe you learn to create the boundaries, and now that you have them there, you're like, I got my boundaries, I'm good. But you're not recognizing how they need to flow. And let me work my way in here. We have the Page of Swords. Again, look at that, just flow. And I feel like this, feeling good, right? Feeling good, feeling movement, feeling like you're getting the hang of this. We have the Moon and hopeful, feeling hopeful. And we have the Four of Wands in reverse. And how do I see this? I see this as shaking up something it doesn't need to be so secure, so stable, so set in stone. Look, it's like she's pulling up one of the wands. Like she's, hey, just take one out. Let's see what happens. To experiment, I'm getting to feel like you can experiment with your boundaries. And I feel like this is something new for you, like new relatively speaking, like new in the past year or so, that you've really come to understand how important boundaries are. But you don't have, as with all things in life, you don't have the full picture. There's always something more to learn. And I think there's this encouragement to pull one up. Take one up and let's see what happens. Maybe I don't need to be so, in this certain situation, maybe I don't need to respond with this type of boundary. Maybe in this intimate relationship, I don't need to be so cut and dry with my boundaries, with my certain feelings, or the give and take of a relationship. That was specific for some of you, because you're starting to apply these boundaries to your existing relationships, and for some of you, intimate relationships. There is some play in it. There is some fluidity to it. In order to really achieve perhaps the goals that you have in your relationships in life. Because you wouldn't use the same boundary in an intimate relationship that you would in a work relationship, right? So there needs to be flow. There needs to be fluidity to it. As long as you remain true to yourself, right? You accept the consequences of changing boundaries, right? That you know that, okay, well, I might do this thing for this person and it's going to turn out this way. But it's not their fault. It's mine. It's my responsibility to understand how my boundaries affect me and the world around me, right? So it's really, now you're in trial and error. Now you're in the trial and error point where you're like, okay, well, I understand it now. I understand the benefits of it. How can I play with it to get even more out of it, out of the boundaries? So let's see. I know we have, that is the gist of the message here, is being fluid with it. So let's see if we have anything else. I think this one is going to be a short one for pile 3. What else do you have for us, ancestors? Again, creativity. Creativity in your approach now. It's to be a little bit more creative. What are different ways that you can respond? And the creativity, look at that. That's going to bring in so much more for you. It's really going to enhance how you utilize your boundaries in life. It's going to enhance your life. And I know this is Easter, but I'm feeling like in all seasons. I don't know why I said that. Feeling like in all seasons. And maybe that has something to do with it too. Maybe it has different points in your life. Also, different times in your life will require different ways, a different approach. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us, ancestors? Anything else you'd like to share with us? I am going to go ahead. I use this for the other two, and I'm wondering. Kind of feel like we should be done already. Like that was the message. It needed to be short. It needed to be quick. So let's just do one more, and I see adventure. We get adventure. I was saying earlier that I haven't used this deck in a long time. And it just called to me like I needed to use it today. And it really did speak to the other two piles. And I think in your instance, it speaks to you too. Understanding the different layers. The different layers, the different levels, the different ways of utilizing this, understanding yourself even. I think this is more than just the boundaries. This is more about, as you come to understand yourself more, you really begin to see all that life has to offer. Like it enriches your life in an amazing way. And I think you're coming to that understanding already. Like you're recognizing how, when you take control and take reins in your personal growth, when you start to enact the things that you're learning, put it into action, wonderful, beautiful things come out of it. And that's what I feel. It feels like it's an adventure, right? Yeah, adventures, not everything goes as planned, right? With adventures. But you're resilient and you go with it, and you accept it, and you just keep going. You keep looking at life with wonder, because I feel a lot of wonder and enchantment in this card. And I think this is a good place to end it. So pile 3, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you got something out of this reading, that your ancestors spoke to you in a way that you're able to really comprehend and absorb. And there was a lot more excitement and joy and energy to this pile's reading, that it was nice to end on this note for me. And I would like to thank you so much for joining me, for spending this time with me. It really means a lot to me. It really means a lot, and I appreciate it so much. So if you got insight, comfort, guidance, go ahead and give a like to the video. And if you really enjoy my style of reading, please subscribe. There will be many more to come. And so I shall bid you adieu, pile 3, and hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.